Showing as a record.
It started now.
Okay. So welcome all the devotees and friends for this hymns explained class. As you all know, this hymn was written by Swami Vivekananda. He only he composed music also for this. And he introduced this so that all the centers all over the world during the evening Sandhya period, that is the dusk time, we can chant. Not only it helps us to chant and take the name of Sri Ramakrishna and his divine glories, but also it gives us an opportunity to contemplate within ourselves. That's why we are trying to study what are these words and what their meaning can be. So we saw the first three verses so far. Any question on the last three verses? I'm seeing the chat portion. No question is there. Okay. Then we should proceed to the fourth verse. So, Jumak, you can please sing that fourth verse. While she is singing, please look at your text and go by syllable when she is singing, because there's a time is there, so you can easily follow that.
Jrimbeta Ishvara Jagadishvara Yoga Sahai Nirodhana Samahitamana Nirodhana Samahitamana Nirakhitava Kripai.
As we saw the first three verses, in the same way, the fourth verse also is very beautifully done. Here we should see the words first. The first line says, Jrimbhita Yuga Ishvara Jagat Ishvara Yoga Sahaya. These are all separate words. But when you make Jagat and Ishvara together, it is pronounced as Jagadishvara. Otherwise, all the other words are kept separately. Jrimbita Yuga Ishvara Jagat Ishvara Yoga Sahaya. The second line, Nirodhana Samahita Mana Nirakhi Tava Kripai. So let us go to the word meaning. Jrimbita. Jrimbita literally means yawning. Jrimbha, we say. So when you yawn, that is what the meaning. But the yawning gives a sense of opening your mouth fully. See, you can't close your mouth and yawn. You have to open your mouth and yawn only. So while opening the mouth becomes bigger. So Jrimbita is a term used for explaining that the world has opened up. Ishvara has opened up as a world. That is the meaning here we have to take it. So Jrimbita Yuga Ishvara, that is Ishvara manifesting as this world, as this, what he is doing has come as a part of Yuga, and he has become the Lord of the Jagat. The Jagat has come from him. He only has opened up the Jagat for us. We are all inside the Jagat. And he is Yoga Sahai. What is his duty in the Jagat? His duty is to help us, to assist us in the yoga. What type of yoga? There are different types of yoga, you see. Only recently we had International Yoga Day on 21st. So you will find everybody is doing asanas, different kinds of asanas. And in most of the places, or most of the people think yoga means yogasanas.
Hmm.
So recently, one man sent me a cartoon. He says it is called, it is written there, Sofasana.
Sofasana.
Sofasana. So that fellow is lying down and having an iPad or something, and he is there. That's all. For hours together, he's lying like that. So it's called Sofasana, you know. So Sofasana, like that, they have made it. So that is what most of us are doing. What type of yoga sadhana we are doing? Are we doing any karma yoga sadhana, or jnana yoga, or bhakti yoga, or raj yoga? Any type of yoga, if you do, there is someone to assist us. That's why yoga sahaya. Then nirodhana. Nirodha means withdrawal, control, or you can say that nirodhana, subdued. So what is subdued here? Samahita mana. The mana is nirodhan. Man is controlled. And samahita means one pointed, concentrated. Samahita. Sum. From the sum word it comes. So sum means to bring together. You know, in tala, in tabla and mridangam, etc., when you play, they say, come to the sum. They say, the singer will say, come to the sum. So the sum is a place where, yes,
That's shom and sam, they're the same.
not som,
Shom, in Bengali, you say shome sho.
shome, yes, correct. Pronunciation is sho,
Ha,
but
ha.
in Sanskrit it is sa.
Ha, but there is a O in that. Shom. Shom bole.
No,
No?
I see. That I have not heard.
Okay.
Hmm. Okay. Maybe pronounced as shom. They write like that.
Shom, Pak.
I see.
You start in the shom only. Shome is we start.
ও দেওয়ার নেই ওটা মানে সম বলা সমের স্পেলিং কিন্তু সোম বলি আমরা
Oh, spelling ta shom. Oh, no.
লাইকলি
No, no.
Okay, okay.
Can I shom means in Sanskrit it is the moon.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
And
So-
some, Maharaj, sama is your
Sama is the word.
sama
Sama
is coming together, bringing
Yes.
together.
Yes, there are many connotations are there. That coming together or coming to the beginning or like that, many connotations are there.
Acha.
You know,
Equal.
samagam. If you say, then everybody coming together. Samahita here means that our mind is well concentrated, to be focused on one point.
Okay. All right.
So that is samahita.
Thank you, Maharaj.
So mana. This mana, nirodhana, samahita, these are two adjectives for the mana. Then he says, Niraki tava kripai. Niraki means I do see. I am seeing. So what he see, what Swamiji sees here, and when Swamiji sees, we are all supposed to see that. Because we are singing, you see. And we are telling Sri Ramakrishna, Niraki, I am seeing you. What you are doing? That tava kripai. By your grace only, I am able to see you. So let us see in the details whether by your kripa, by your grace, I am able to see you. Is that the meaning comes? Of course, niraki means I am seeing. That is the meaning. So it is comes from the Sanskrit word nirikshan. So nirikshan means well seen or well examined. So that word is in Bangla, it is niraki. So, Jirimbita Yuga Ishvara. Now let us take this particular adjective. Sri Ramakrishna is Jirimbita Yuga Ishvara. He is manifesting as the Lord of this age. Yuga. Yuga is considered as age because there are 4 types of yugas are mentioned in our scriptures. Presently we are staying now what is called Kali Yuga. And before us, there was a yuga called Dwapara Yuga. And before that, there was another yuga called Treta Yuga. And before Treta Yuga, there was a yuga called Satya Yuga. Now, the order is Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapara Yuga, and Kali Yuga. All these things I have got, our sages have found out how many years they actually stay on. If you say that a millennium, millennium is 1000. So 1000 years, like that you say that, millennium. So century means 100. Like that, they have given a word for 482,000 years is equal to, or 432 years, 32,000, sorry. 432,000 years is called Kali Yuga.
One yuga.
No, Kali Yuga.
Only Kali Yuga. Oh, different
Kali Yuga.
yugas have different spans. So what?
Different spans are there, yes.
Oh.
So if you have a pen and paper, you can now calculate 432 plus 432.
Oh, that will
You
be
add-
Dwapara Yoga.
Yes, that is the span of Dwapara Yuga. What is the figure that you get?
Oh, 864,000.
Okay, 864,000. Now you add 432,000.
So 1296,000.
That is Treta Yuga.
My God.
And then you add another
432.
432,000.
1728,000.
Yes, that is the, so 17 million years. Million or billion it is.
Oh, I don't know. Malavika will be able to say it's million or billion.
No, if 1,000 is a million,
1,000 is a million. Yes.
million, তাহলে 1.7 million.
1.7 million years. That is only that yuga. Now, if you add all these four, then the total, what it comes, can you say what is the total? 1.71 plus?
Plus 1.29
Yes,
plus 864 plus 432.
yes.
Oh my God.
So how much total you get?
864, 1296, 1728. 8 to 10, 20, 639.
So 432,000. Actually, it is 432,000 times 10.
Yes, yes.
Okay.
Right.
Easy to calculate from that.
So how many millions?
So that will be,
Does it come to 17 million or 14 million?
no, it doesn't come to that.
6, 4, 10, 20, 9,
1,000 যদি হয় তাহলে only 4.3 million হয়।
12 plus
4.3 million হয়।
Okay, that's the total comes.
4.3 million.
Okay,
4.3
that's
million.
very good. That means much less than what I expected. So
Yeah,
nothing to worry.
I have to get it cross-checked with Chandrani. I think she's there, but she's silent.
So nothing to worry about that. So
The addition is
now
correct. I don't know about this thing. The total, we have 432, yes.
these names are given, as we give name to the particular number of years. As I told you, century for 100. So like that, these names are given. But then the Puranas say these are all one differs from another in its characteristic existence. So these years will give you a lifespan of the people also change. A human in Kali Yuga is supposed to live for 100 years. But in Treta Yuga, he lives for 200 years. And in Dwapara Yuga, he lives for 300 years. And then in Satya Yuga, he lives for 400 years. So the lifespan also changes. So the health also changes. So many things make change there. That's what they say. Now, so this yuga gets Ishvara. So every yuga gets Ishvara. So in Kali Yuga, you have appeared. So who has appeared as Ishvara? You see, there are two Ishvara's words are there. One is Yuga Ishvara and Jagad Ishvara. So you must take it like this, that Ishvara is Jirumbito, he is manifesting as the Yugas. And after manifesting as the Yugas, then he himself is the Lord of this Yuga, Lord of this Jagat, this universe. So Jagat Ishvara is what he says. So who can be Jagat Ishvara? Who can be the Lord of the universe unless that person is the creator of this universe? That's why initially he says that Jrimbita, that word he has used. So you have come as a Yuga Ishvara, and you are rightly, you can be called as Jagad Ishvara, as the Lord of the universe. None else can be called a Lord, unless you have that capacity. So he says that you first came as a Yuga Ishvara, that means producer of time. So you are the creator of the time, and everything comes under time. So this, and you become the Lord of the universe. So what is your function as the Lord of the universe? So he says that, and he also, you see, this you must tally with the Bhagavad Gita, where Sri Krishna says that 4th chapter, he says that how he manifests again and again in the universe. So that also must be taken into account here. So if the earnest spiritual seekers are there, and Lord has manifested as a Yuga Ishvara, he is there ready to help us. So God is the teacher, and he is the teacher also. In the Patanjali also says in Yoga Sutras, God is the teacher. If God is the teacher, a teacher, what he does, he tells the students and he helps them to arrive at the solutions of the problems. Whether it is mathematics or geography or any subject, some problems will be there, questions will be there. How do I, as a student, how I answer? So Lord helps me. So he's called Yoga Sahaya. So he is the Sahayak. There's a beautiful song I remember now, that who can trouble you, who can harm you if Ram is your Sahayak? You remember that one Hindi song is there? Very old song.
Yes. Yeah. But I don't.
Janaki Sahayaka,
Yeah.
like that it comes, Janaki Nath Sahayaka. So that, like that. So he is a Sahayak. So we find in lots of devotees' lives, something or other, some incident happens, and they say that Thakur helped me. Thakur resolved me. Mother came to me and helped me. And Swamiji helped me. Like that they say. There are several incidences, we know that. If you see in all your lives, your own personal lives, you will see that somewhere or other, there was an unexpected source of help. A help that has come to you, but you never expected that from that source. And it has come to you. That is Sahayak. So Sahaya means helping, assisting. It comes from the word Saha. Saha means together or assisting, like that. So Sahaya. So he comes and again he helps us. Sri Ramakrishna, in his life itself, we saw his life was a spirituality par excellence. That's what Swamiji says. His spirituality cannot be compared with even others, because you find that every spiritual discipline he has undergone. Take it his life from the beginning of his in Kamarpukur itself. From that time onwards, whatever sadhanas he did, at the culmination, coming to a close in Dakshineswar, all types of sadhanas he has done. So any spiritual aspirant coming to him, he can understand what is your problem, because he has gone through it. It is so strange, that in gospel class, if you attend, you will know that how Sri Ramakrishna is attracting people from different levels of the society and different organizations. They all come and sit under him and talk to him. Why? It is because he is able to guide them. I will tell you one small incident how the gospel is guiding everyone even till today. Swami Bhaskaranji once visited New Zealand. He arrived at New Zealand, and then because he was invited by some organization for giving a talk. So he arrived at the airport. He saw the people who are going to take him also have come, and one family also was standing. One husband and wife, they came and made pranam to him. Now, he didn't expect in New Zealand somebody will come and do pranam. I'm telling about long back. So he asked them, I think you are well known to Ramakrishna Mission? He asked. They said yes. Then they said, Swamiji, we have got one request. These people have come to take you and they are going to put you up in a hotel. I would request you, why don't you come to our home? Our home, we have got a beautiful Sri Ramakrishna's picture. And every day we do Khandana. Can you please come to us and stay? Then Swamiji said, okay, you talk to them. Then they talked to her. They are also very happy. Okay, this man is taking. That's all. They left. And then he went to their home. And he was stunned to see a beautiful picture of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother and Swamiji. And he sat there, he talked to them. And during the supper time, in the dining table, he and his wife and Swamiji and his son and daughter were sitting. And he says, Swamiji, after our dinner, we read 2 pages from the gospel. Would you be present? He said, yes. Gospel reading, why you will not be present? Come, let us start reading. And then after dinner, they read. Then Swami Bhaskaranji says, ask them, how did you get this inspiration to follow Sri Ramakrishna in this land? Then they said, Maharaj, that man said, my father was a great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna. I am telling you, when he was about 50 or 55 years old, he was doing a business and we were all children at the time, and he went to America. In one of the street he was walking, he saw a bookshop. So he entered there. And in the bookshop, there's a bookshop according to subjects, they have arranged the books. So there was a section called philosophy. So my father was standing there and looking at the books. The sales girl came to him and produced a book in front of him. Said, sir, this is the latest book on philosophy that you have got. If you are interested, you can take it. He took the book. It was written there, the Gospel of Sri Ramakrishna. He said, okay, give me. He doesn't know who Ramakrishna is. Nothing he knows. Because the girl said this is the latest book, he purchased. And he brought it. And he didn't even turn the pages. He came all the way to his home, that is New Zealand, and taken out from the bag, he put it on the table in his bedroom. That's all he did. And his missus also did not see anything important in that book. So she also did not care. Like that, 1 year has gone. And whenever they dust the table, they take the book and dust it and keep it. They have not opened it. One day, in midnight, that gentleman, that is this man's father, he saw a light, small light entering the room. He thought outside maybe there must be light. He saw no, everything is dark. But in the room, there is no light is on. But a small light came and the light was becoming bigger and bigger. And it filled the room. He got afraid. He roused his wife. See, there is some light I see, and it has filled the room. She said, I am not seeing any light. So she turned back and started sleeping. And he is sitting in his bed and looking at the light. After some time, exactly the picture on the front of the book, this bust size of Ramakrishna, that came there. And Sri Ramakrishna is talking to him in English, telling him, my dear man, you brought me all the way from US, and you are not anything reading. Take it and read, he said. And then he disappeared. That's what he had the vision. And then from that day onwards, next day onwards, he started reading gospel. So he used to keep us children. We were all children, and we used to sit in the night, and he used to read it every day, 2 pages. And he is now passed away, and I am continuing the tradition, my father's tradition. So we are all greatly helped in our spiritual life. Then he said, we are all very serious Christians. We go to the church every Sunday, but many things we did not understand in our Bible. After reading the gospel, we are able to relate certain things that we already know as in Bible to our life, to our spiritual life. So you see, this is only one incident. Likewise, hundreds of incidents you will get in different devotees' lives. How Sri Ramakrishna comes in different manners, and it's not that it's all in a particular form only he comes, in different places. One gentleman, he wanted to become a monk. So I met him in Vrindavan. So I told him, so can you tell me how you became a monk? See, he said, my age was over. My age was over, and I was not eligible for Ramakrishna Mission's admission. So, but then I decided I shall live a monk's life. But then I had a sister and a sister's husband, and she had a small baby. And I was staying with them. I was wondering when I should take sannyas, when I should leave the home. To leave the home, was very difficult. I found it to leave my dear and near ones to go away is very difficult. So I've been only postponing. And that itself my minus point, I couldn't get the Ramakrishna mission. But I was so much interested in Sri Ramakrishna. I do puja of him every day. I worship him. I read all the books, etc. I attend the ashram activities. With all that, I am unable to come out of my home. Then I told Sri Ramakrishna, look, Thakur, I am unable to get out of the home. Though I want to become a monk. Why you are not helping me? If you are Yoga Sahaya, why you are not helping me? So I actually fought with him. Some devotees actually raise such questions. Why, Thakur, you are not doing this? You have got every right to say that. Yes, my Gurudev also used to say, yes, you can just fight with the Thakur. No problem. He will not try and make you any problem. He will be rather happy that you are fighting with him. And then he asked him. So one day, he thought, this day I must go. But then he got up, he made everything ready, one small bag he took, and then he put it on his shoulder, and he slowly, without any noise, he opened the door. He stood there and he turned back. And his sister's daughter, that is niece, that 3-year-old niece, that she came at that time. These children, sometimes they don't sleep well. And the early morning they get up and they come away. And she has come. And she is telling, at that time he's praying to Sri Ramakrishna, oh Lord, please help me to leave. My mind should not be weakened. Like that he's telling. At that time he saw this baby. Now the child, is always attractive. And the child, you may not be able to go. But then when he saw that, the child stood there at the door and told him, go, jao, jao. Like that he said. And he took it as an order of Sri Ramakrishna. So he got the command now and he left. That's how he became a sannyasi. That is what he was telling me in Vrindavan. So you can see that Yoga Sahaya comes at different spots, at different types. If only all the devotees can express it. Nowadays you got Facebook and all such things are there, and people can write down their experiences also, So I can see that several people do write some of their experiences, and they can share with the others. It gives the whole devotees group, a huge. That's why in in Bhakta Sammelan, where we have in India, what we do is, there is a particular session 1 hour given to devotees. The devotee can come up on the stage and tell his or her personal experience. We are not talking about her achievements in spiritual life, etc. But how Sri Ramakrishna or Holy Mother or Swamiji helped them in proceeding in their spiritual life. So he is Yoga Sahai, definitely. So that is what he said. So every avatara is coming for that only, to help us. So because an avatar is not limited by time, he comes. But you'll be surprised when the avatars leave their body, their power becomes much more intense. They can reach more number of people. Think of the day Sri Ramakrishna went on to Samadhi, and next day only the few disciples were there. Less than 100 people carried his dead body to the smashan, that is to the cremation ground in Kashipur. So there was a news item in the Statesman on 19th, on 20th of
August.
so that there it says less than 100 people were there in the crowd. But now you see, today Sri Ramakrishna's birthday celebrations, millions of people are celebrating today. When he was in body, it was limited scope was there to reach the people. But once he is out of the body, he is a Jagat Ishvara. So the whole Jagat can access him. And now huge number are his devotees. So that is what happens. That's how they help. Even today, they are helping us. So first line, any explanation required? Yes, Gaurav?
Swamiji, a small question, Swamiji.
Mm.
Swamiji, that man whose age was over, he took sannyas from the mission or some different order?
No. Mission is not possible, no. You have to join before 30 years. You have to undergo 9 years training, etc. So that's not possible for us because he's overaged. If you are overaged, then you are not accepted in mission.
Swamiji, so is it all right being a devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, you take sannyas from different orders?
Yes. There are centers in, that is Darshanami Sampradaya, centers are there in Vrindavan and also in Haridwar. So we recommend to those Swamis, then these boys can go and take Diksha. Even I have recommended one gentleman, even he has got married, he lived a life, and then he was very good devotee of us. At the age of 60, he wanted to take sannyas. So I recommended his name to one ashram in Haridwar. He went there and took sannyas. Now he is a monk. So it is possible. These
Thank you,
restrictions,
Swamiji.
these rules are made by Swamiji, you see, only for the Ramakrishna mission. Only celibates can join and they can be given sannyas. This rule is not there outside. So outside, you can even get married, and then after marriage also you can go and get sannyas.
So Thakur sadhana,
That is a traditional form. Brahmacharya, Grahastha, Vanaprastha and sannyas. So the traditional form is still maintained.
so Swamiji, same sadhana can be continued after sannyas in a different order also.
Yes. And there is no binding. In Ramakrishna mission, when we are a monk, we belong to this order. We belong to this organization. But there it is not like that. You take sannyas and you go and you establish your own ashram or mutt or stay anywhere and you continue sadhana. So that facility is there, yes.
Thank you, Swamiji.
Okay, thank you. So the second line, Nirodhana Samahita Mana Niraki Tava Kripai. So here, it's a very interesting thing. Two types of meanings I'm trying to imagine. Say one is, say the first one I see that. See, Niraki Tava Kripai, by your grace, I am able to see. So what I am able to see, that also you have to say. So he says, Nirodhana Samahita Mana. Mana, that is my mind, is Nirodhan, it has been well controlled. And then samahita mana, it is brought into particular focus. So there is a one-pointed attention and also control of the mind. These two go together, because when you have the one-pointed attention, unless you make the mind free from the distractions. So if 1,000 thoughts are coming in your mind and your mind is distracted, you can't be one-pointed. Your mind is not nirodhana. So the mind has to be nirodhana. Then what happens? The result is samahita mana. Once the mind is controlled, the waverings of the mind is stopped, the too much of vrittis, the thought waves are coming, that have been removed, then what happens? You get a one-pointed attention. Samahita mana. It's very beautiful. So in the yoga, Patanjali's Yoga Sutra 1.2, he says, Yogas chitta vritti nirodha, he says. So the nirodha word is used. And Swamiji very aptly uses the word nirodha after he is calling Sri Ramakrishna as Yoga Sahai, mind you. So the yoga word also he has used, and the yoga Patanjali's Yoga Sutra, also this very word comes, chitta vritti nirodha. So that yoga and then chitta vritti nirodha is well connected. So Swamiji brings it beautifully. In the first line, he ended with Yoga Sahai. In the second line, it starts with Nirodha. So yoga and Nirodha are very deeply interconnected. So this chitta vritti is a terrible thing. Even when you sit for meditation, then only you will actually know how your mind is so much disturbed. Other times, you will not know that out, because you are with that disturbance. Your mind is scattered and you are taking it as a normal. Only when you try to meditate, at that time you understand, oh, my mind is going to hundreds of places. So many places is going, so many thoughts are coming. So like that, you will understand that. So this chitta vritti nirodha is very important, and for that, Sri Ramakrishna assists you. So Holy Mother says, one gentleman comes to Holy Mother and tells her, I am unable to concentrate. Holy Mother says, open your eyes and seize the picture of Sri Ramakrishna. Keep the photo before you. Don't close your eye now. Open your eyes. Look at him. And he will help you. Suddenly you find that many thoughts were there that has become few thoughts. After some time, few thoughts were there, now it has become one thought. Becoming one thought is meditation. What is dhyana? Dhyana is said to be the one-pointed attention, having one thought. One thought must be there. And that one thought is, as Patanjali says, is like the oil dropped to another vessel. From the bottle, you pour the oil to one vessel. How the oil smoothly fall to the ground or to the vessel. Likewise, the mind is smoothly fixed to one thought. That is dhyana. So that dhyanam, that nirodhana, samahita mana, you will definitely, Sri Ramakrishna will definitely help you. That's what he says. So, I am able to see by your grace that you are the Supreme Lord of the universe, Jagadishwara, and you have come down as the incarnation of this age, Yuga Ishvara. This is also I have told. And then you are Yoga Sahaya. You help me in my spiritual path. This is one type of interpretation. Another interpretation you can think is, by your grace, I am able to subdue my mind. I am able to control my mind, nirodhana, and bring the mind to one-pointed, concentrate on you. Where do I concentrate? In my heart. So in my heart, when I concentrate upon you, I see you in my heart. So Niraki means I see. So where do you see? Spiritual aspirant sees his Ishta Devata. Where does he see? He does see in his heart. Once he sees in his heart, then only he can promote himself to the final stage of seeing God everywhere. If you are not seen within yourself, how are you going to see outside? This question Swami Vivekananda raises in Karma Yoga also. So first we have to try to see God within. Once we see within, then we'll be able to see outside also. So inside and outside, these two places we have to see. But then he will be able to help us. This is the two types of interpretation you can have. But when you think over this line again and again, perhaps you may get some new ideas also. Even while listening to me, if you have any idea different from that, you are welcome to tell me. Gaurav, do you think anything?
No, Swamiji,
Yes.
I'm fine, Swamiji.
Yes, I
Thank
see
you.
your grace. That is also one point of seeing that, no? And then I see within myself by your grace. So both these interpretations are acceptable here. So Nirodhana Samahita Mana Niraki Tava Kripai.
Swamiji, just one, I'm thinking, even though you have not seen him inside you, you have not reached that stage, but still, can we superimpose him on others?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Thank you. So that's what Shankaracharya says in the Gita chapter 2, Sthita Prajna Lakshana. So he says, he raises this question, what you have done. That question he raises and he answers. He says, you say that Sthita Prajna is such and such mind is Sthita Prajna, like that Krishna gives. But then Arjuna is not a Sthita Prajna. He is not reached that stage. But why does Bhagavan Krishna has to tell him these are the qualities of Sthita Prajna? Sthita Prajna means one whose intellect is well established. Sthita means established. So that Prajna means his wisdom, his Gyan, his wisdom is established. So that's Sthita Prajna. Why are you giving so many qualities? So he says, following the qualities during the practice time will lead to the fulfillment of the quality in me, he says. Say Nirashir Aparigraha. So one who does not have any desire, one who does not accept anything from others. So this is one of the qualities, he says. Then, if it is so, I have not reached that stage, but can I not practice that? So Shankara says, why don't you practice? If you practice these qualities and these Sthita Prajna qualities, this will ultimately lead you to become Sthita Prajna. So Swamiji says that in that fashion only, Swamiji has brought out this Seva Yajna. The Nara Seva Yajna, Swamiji has pressed the importance because of that only. So that he says you are not able to see God in him. But why don't you try to see God in him and serve him? If somebody falls sick in your home, don't you go and serve them? Your own parents, God forbid, your own sister, brother, anybody known to you, even your friends, you go there. If anybody listens from somebody else that Swamiji is sick today, then that person will not ask. If you are careful about that, you just phone and ask, how are you today, Swamiji? So that shows that you are trying to see God in that person. But you have not seen God in him, definitely. You still see him as a flesh and blood, as a man, and as the form that he has got, and with the name, etc. But then, by sparing your emotion in taking care of that person, you are trying to see God in him. Can you see God in a dog, in animal, in bird? One incident of Shirdi Sai Baba comes to my mind. I do not know, some might have heard also that story, because I am very fond of repeating the story everywhere. Shirdi Sai Baba used to love the devotees. They used to go and sit under his feet. And one lady, she, while sitting in the crowd, she's thinking in her mind, I want to feed Baba one day. When that day will come, when by my hands I will prepare something and feed him. She's thinking like that. And Shirdi Baba looked at her and he said, okay, you want to feed me? You bring hot parota, garam parota. Tum la sakti ho? Like that he asked. Then that lady got up and said, oh Baba, definitely, I'll bring for you. When do you want to bring? You bring tomorrow itself. Said, okay. So she went back with so much of joy, she couldn't even sleep properly, because the joy is that tomorrow morning I'm going to take bath and put on fresh clothes and prepare parota. And hot parota. I got even a hot container. I will take it and give to him, and he will be eating. See, Baba eats. A holy man eating your cooked food. You know how much blessings you are going to get? I can't quantify it. Nobody can quantify it. It's something that will last for the next 10 births. So the sages say that some of the things that you get in this birth very easily, which others are not getting in their life, for which they have to do lots and lots of trouble. How do you get so easily? It is because you have fed somebody. Feeding someone is a great punya, it's a great charity. And that too, if you do to a holy man, then that comes in multifold. That's what Swamiji says. It comes in multifold in the next birth. Now, when Baba, she's thinking, and then next day morning, she went to the kitchen, she opened the windows, and then she started doing, no, she didn't open the window. She went and put the tawa on the fire, and then she started doing parota. And then she puts ghee, parota you have to put ghee. And then she is frying it. At that time, because of the smoke, she opened the window. The moment she opened the window, she was stunned to see a very, very bad thing. That was a very, very slim, lean dog. It was not very merely slim and lean. The whole body, skin, is of tuberculosis. And it looked so ugly. Good puppies, you take it in your hand and you take it, you feel so happy. But this dog, you cannot even see. Immediately she closed the door, that is window. And she said, what a bad woman it is. Today I'm going to prepare roti for Baba. At this time, I had to see this. Early morning, seeing such scenes is not considered as a good thing. Many people feel like that. So she came. Anyway, she made the parota and took it and went there. And all the ladies are sitting. She also sat there. And she's thinking Baba will see her and ask for that. Baba did not look at all. Time went on. 40 minutes, 1 hour, 1.5 hours. And then finally, the satsang was over. Baba also got up and was going on his way. And she ran behind him. And she said, Baba, yesterday you told me to bring today. I have brought, here it is. Then he looked at her and asked, Kya, ye garam parota hai? He asked her, is it hot parota? As I told you, she said, yes. Baba, you see, no. When I said garam parota, the meaning is different. That's why when you are making the parota, I went in the form of the dog and I was putting my tongue out and I was looking at you that at least one piece you will cut it and then throw it at me. I will take the hot parota. But you never recognized me. That lady got so much astonished, Oh, what a wonderful teaching Baba is giving me. I never saw God in that dog. Should I not have just pitched one piece and then thrown at that dog? This is very interesting, This point is that when somebody is hungry and standing before you, you don't feed, and you go and feed 50 people in a big function, in a marriage function, you go and feed. And they are all, already they have taken food also. And they just come for a fun of, they come. And for them, you are ready to feed, but not one person who is very near to you, who is hungry. So this is very important point, That's why Swamiji started this Seva Yajna for us, this Karma Yoga, that to do something, prepare something, feed something, somebody will take it. Even feeding birds every day, some mothers are there, they will feed birds every day. Very good thing it is. So these are all things one has to cultivate. Then only, you can train your mind to see God in them. Otherwise, if you don't do any service, for instance, how are you going to think God is in others also? Okay, God is within you, that you can meditate and get it. But God is outside, that how are you going to train your mind to believe that? So it is necessary that we must practice what are the qualities of the Sthita Prajna to attain to the level of Sthita Prajna. So your question is answered, I think.
Yes, thank you, Swamiji.
I am not proceeding to the next verse because only 4 minutes are left. But we can discuss something. Isabel, any question? No question. Okay. So Cephalidi, Chobidi, any question?
না এরপর আর কি কোশ্চেন হতে পারে আপনি আপনি বলে দিলেন
Okay. Okay, then very good. So today we take leave of you and Durga to everyone. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Tat Sat. Sri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Durga.
Pranam.
প্রণাম মহারাজ
Namaskar.
Thank you, Swamiji.